Hey everybody. So sorry, I'm just getting out of the shower, but I felt compelled um, to do this. I had this urge to write today, and sorry, when I start writing, I have to start writing. I have to continue to write. Um, just gonna move because I glare. um, don't worry, I'm wearing pants. Um, so I don't know really what to say anymore. I do. I have a lot to say actually, but life is very mysterious, and sometimes we don't understand why it is what it is. And I do know that I wrote today is gonna I'm gonna talk about some lessons, and I guess just what my take is on it. I'm not usually one to want to read my things. I usually write it out, but I'm gonna try to read it and see what happens. Yesterday, by a fluke encounter with two beautiful old ladies. One old lady, told me about her life story, and it was amazing how she took risks and she was been happy. And she says, yeah, it didn't work out one way, but it worked out another way. And it was just exactly what I needed to hear for right now. And she said, when she could, she took risks, and she went away by herself for 10 years, and it was the happiest time of hers. And it was me and my friend, actually, we're both going through the same thing right now, which is kind of cool and kind of sad at the same time, but whatever, it is what it is. And the lady just reminded us that we have to live our happiness, and we have to live for us. And at the end, people are going to get hurt regardless, whether it's your family or friends or whatever it is. People always get hurt because they don't want to ever see somebody happy. But if they really do love somebody unconditionally and things like that, they have to let them go and experience life and things like that if that person sees fit. I'm not saying that that's the case for everybody. I'm just saying, like, in general. But meeting her was really nice yesterday, and it was something that it was really nice to hear. Life is not easy, and I know my last video, you guys can kind of tell that, but I'm human and I'm allowed to hurt. And things will get better, and I know they will get better. I have allowed toxicity into my life in order to stop myself from grieving so much. And I recognize that, and I said, no, I have to try to be different. Because throughout the pain, there is a lesson. Whatever it is, it'll be. But I do want to read you what I wrote, and it's a bunch of pages long, but I just feel like this is what I need to say, and this is what I want to share. Let me just drink some water. Because, but I've been all day at the beach, so the sun takes its toll. Okay. Life is not about just the big lesson. It's about the lessons and the teachings that create the bigger picture. It's about learning through the pain and the happiness. I know it's just another cliche that without the pain you cannot appreciate the happiness and the joys of life, blah, blah, blah. But really, but it's true, in times of darkness, when the serotonin has a hell of a time being released, this happiness cannot be caused. Happiness cannot come out. Happiness can only be caused when we don't allow toxic behaviors into our journey or our lessons. And I know for one that everything has to happen for a reason. And everything since March 13th has been crazy, and obviously it's been under, I can't even read my own writing, but obviously it's understandable. For anybody who's followed me knows that, knows what happened and has followed my journey. But now as I sit by the side of an amazing view, a big vast plain of blue to what seems to be endless, I realize through all this, I have learned so much. First and foremost, I gained truth and intense feeling, truth in myself, and that is something bigger than me. I thought of a dream I thought of a dream that came true, and that was a concert that was finally an eye-opener. Everything lined up and played out so amazing. From the moment of walking into my soul sister's house and experiencing the sheer shock and the happiness and the surprise that I was making, that I was able to do that to somebody, that I was able to make somebody so happy from a gesture. From the road trip where despite the clean hotel room, everything was lined up right down the middle. From the sun and the moon lining up in a big blue sky, separated only by a fine line of destiny. Two souls coming together, longing and missing for each other, all for a purpose, to spend one special night with the Trews. From meeting my physical wolves, Fred and George, and from them being everything that I had ever pictured them to be as characters. And to that sweet rock angel woman who kept me cool throughout the whole night. All those amazing things happened around me, and I remember that moment where that clear space opened up and the cool breeze hit me, and I kept saying, and I looked, and it felt like a direct eye contact with Colin's baby blue eyes, that I said, one day I will meet you. One day it'll happen. Before that night, I had asked for an amazing night, for amazing night with the love of mine, my dear friend, my soul sister, and the love of music. By many synchronicities, and the wish was granted. The moment of starstruck filled our eyes like children screaming, like a bunch of 13-year-olds seeing Justin Bieber. The night was never what I expected, but was everything I had dreamt about. Every time we bought tickets. Many times I have dreamt for things to happen, and they never did. But I never lost hope. I always dreamt and wished. And that moment, a gesture so pure, made with love and great intention, was given a grand finale. I'm going. I learned that was the moment to trust everything, and everything comes in due time. Time is a man-made concept, and everything is pulled by energies and alignments. What doesn't get disrupted will make its way into collision and burst into an imagined memory, or an imagined moment, Just like meeting Mr. Nice Eyes. We were destined to meet. For fuck's sakes, he was filling my energy since November and February. I had my warning. And then we crossed paths. This journey has truly was or somewhat continues to be something from out of this world. The question is still out there and still seems to be answered. Using my logical side is how I can feel. How does someone fall madly in love with somebody who they don't even know? It doesn't make sense. My spiritual side of me is like, wake the fuck up, bitch. There's no logic in life. From what the mind seems to think it controls, it is just being laughed at by the amazing current that we create. No matter what all these lessons are, that sometimes we need to learn through pain, and regardless of the physical world, pain always goes away one way or another. When a heart is broken, it tends to forget that maybe its only realizations are in other things. To take a deep sea dive into what makes us truly happy. Us, me, myself, I. The lesson that came out of the choices we make are the ones we end up having to live with the rest of our lives. But regardless of the choice and the path that we choose, there's always something to be learned. By meeting Mr. Nice Eyes, I became more in touch and less afraid of allowing my soul to do what it needs to do to aid my life. I learned to always speak my truth more than before. And not only speak my truth, but feel my truth. The intense connection was something way out of my control of two amazing people. Possibly even twin flames. That they may always long for each other or forget that they even exist. Who knows? Or maybe one day their lives will cross again. But again, who knows? This life could have very well been the signing of the contract to seal the deal. Only our conclusion from what we have learned of this will determine that fate. One thing I have learned again is how to love again and just to let it happen. And what is meant to stay around will stay around, and what will leave will leave. Only the strong will survive. I remembered my friend and my dear pain in the ass cheeks, and how I knew my heart, and I know in my heart I love the fool. But from him, it was a different craving, a sexual craving. I wanted him so bad without even knowing it. And I had known that I know we would have been together. Would have been amazing together if we had ended up on that route. And that drives me crazy. He drives me crazy. But besides that, we have grown from just knowing each other and our lives, and we made our lives a little better in ways that maybe we didn't even realize. We helped each other. And today I can admit that we love each other and we laugh about it. And the only thing that ever came from this was a big sexual craving and a kiss and a great friendship. Many times I cried for him and I wanted to be with him, but I had plans and I had my wants, and it was never meant to be because I chose my happiness. I won't sit here and lie and sometimes question if I had given up what I wanted to go back to him and attempt something with him. But I couldn't, and I know I would never truly be happy, and that wouldn't be fair to him or to me. Our destiny may already be written from what we know, but there are always errors. And if you truly believe, you can rewrite your own stars. We have to make our own stars glow. And now here I find myself with no direction once again, wondering which way to go, seeing that my happiness is not where it needs to be for much longer. But this time I'm trying not to control it and let it be. I find myself in the middle of a situation that threw my life for a massive curveball, which made me live outside my limits, at full tilt, like Apollo 13 getting ready to hit the moon. In a whirlwind of emotions, from love to sadness, to experience a stranger on a whole other level. The feelings, to feel their energies like they were going to walk through the door at any minute. To feel their thoughts through their passion. To feel it in my body. This was and will continue to be an incredible experience. I cannot take that away. These amazing feelings that didn't exist were accompanied by a lot of pain and doubt. The feeling of emptiness that comes with the longing to be together, to touch each other, to hug, or even to kiss. To exchange energies and just share a moment in time. The pain is not easy, and it doesn't want to go away. With the saudade being so strong, it's incredible how we survive. This is something that possibly never be answered, but there are so many lessons that can be learned in this time and will always be a bigger lesson. Who knows? In this life, the only thing we can do is live and die, and we need to try to live with the happiness and not with regret. When the bad comes, we have to learn from it. And when the joy and happiness comes, grace it and embrace it. Never stop believing in a dream. You make your own path and let the universe guide you. And remember, unconditional love is also letting things go for the sake of others. When unhappiness is present, it surrounds us. It brings us and others to a level without even knowing it sometimes. But we need to try to remember that the light always finds a way it always finds a way in the cracks if we stop it covering it with clouds. So that's it. I know I'm not the best of readers, but I wanted to share that. And peace and love.